right now, I would like to happily introduce one of the coolest voice actors I've ever met. He is joining our show tonight for a little while, and he's notable for playing Domeki in Holic, which we talked about a couple of months ago, and Komui in D.Gray-Man, which is a really cool anime and manga series, and also Enel in One Piece, or Neru. It doesn't really matter, I guess. So, everybody, please welcome J. Michael Tatum!
Wow. With an introduction like that, I'm not sure I can live up to your standards now. I'm a little nervous now. I thought I had this in the bag, and now I'm kind of thinking, I don't know.
Well,
but hey, thanks for having me on. This is my first ever radio interview. So you're I guess popping my cherry tonight in the radio land.
Well, we are very excited to have you on the show. You're pretty notable in the anime world, especially recently, with stuff like Holic and One Piece wasn't really recent, was it? But there's Komui.
On high school as well.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
Well, we mustn't forget Ouran High School. Your old Kyoya Ootori.
Oh yeah.
Yes. It's been a crazy couple of years for me, actually. There's a lot of stuff that I've had the fortune to be in. It's just sort of come out, and I think I'm just now, maybe in the past 6 months to a year, really beginning to feel the repercussions of some of it. It's crazy. I love it. I love every minute of it, but it still feels very surreal to me. So
well, that's what it's like, not being able to be yourself for your job.
Yeah.
I mean, look at me. I have to be outgoing.
Not be yourself, but getting to be like 100 different selves every day, sometimes 4 or 5 in a day, so that you don't know who you are when you come home anymore.
You're a paid schizophrenic.
Yes, very. You don't have to be schizophrenic to do this kind of job, but it helps.
Helps, yeah.
Well, if you're listening to the show right now and you have questions, you can write them in our chat box, which should be open on our show page right now. Neo and RJ are running that. So yeah, they'll actually be on the chat box tonight instead of the airwaves. And also, Lady Une from the Ninja Legion will be there too. And if you want to call in and ask a couple questions or so, you can call in at 347-202-0453. That's 347-202-0453. So let's get this interview out of the way, and everybody enjoy it, because
I'm totally going to call in on my cell phone and ask myself questions.
Wow.
What are you doing? What are you doing right now?
Hey, what's your favorite thing to do?
Or better, what am I doing right now?
Wait, I recognize this voice. Yeah.
Hold on just a second. Okay. Well, September, the first weekend of September, Labor Day weekend, was Anime Fest, and that was quite a big convention. It was really cool. What were your impressions of it?
That was my second year to be involved with Anime Fest as a guest, and it was a blast. I mean, it was a blast last year as well. It's of course, last year was a big deal because they premiered a couple of episodes of Ouran High School Host Club there, so that kind of put me on the map with all the fangirls. So that last year had the distinction of being the first con I ever got glomped at officially, which was outstanding. I loved every minute of it, and this year was great. This year was awesome. I mean, I always have a lot of fun. Susie and the crew that run it always treat me like family and, take good care of us. But I think the real high point for me was, for the very first time ever, getting to meet Johnny on Bosch, who is, I'm a huge fan. I think I terrified him a little bit when we were in because I've been, he's been doing this forever, and he's a really, really cool guy. That was the best part of meeting him, is how just very down to earth and laid back and just really sweet he is. And so I think I ran off after just sharing a few words with him because I was afraid of fanboying out, and so
I love you.
So So, Johnny, if you happen to be listening tonight, or please know I wasn't running away. I was trying not to make a fool out of myself and failing miserably.
Actually, I don't think I gave him our link, so sorry. But Johnny, if you ever listen to our show in the future, like when we get to the airwaves, and yeah, just know J. Michael Tatum loves you, and he wasn't trying to be a creepy stalker.
It was also
I
got to get to hang out with Troy Baker too, because I've a handful of times, but because he's LA based, we haven't really hung out a lot, and we did a lot of hanging out over the course of that weekend, which was really, really fun. Troy is a great guy.
Yeah, he was fun.
Of course, Chuck Huber is always fun too, so it was great. I loved it. I have a great time, and it's local for me, the con, so.
Yeah.
I don't have to deal with all the travel malarkey and all that, so it's just great. It's a truly 4-day weekend for me. It doesn't feel like work. I just kind of go to soak up the fan love, which there's a lot. The fans at Anime Fest are really gracious and very, very kind.
Except for when you're talking to all those nerds, then it's work.
It's okay. I speak nerd. I'm very fluent in nerd. I am a nerd, so I...
With that weird little kid in the blue jacket who kept jumping up and down in his seat.
What's that?
With that weird little kid in the blue jacket who kept jumping up and down in his seat.
Oh, it was cute.
For everybody who doesn't know, that was me.
And who the weird kid that made me sign his cell phone cover? What was that all about? God,
I'm still using this phone.
That guy was weird. Did you see him?
I know. What a freak.
I'm a nerd. Oh, my.
I love, by the way, just speaking of that little personal story, I love that when I signed the inside of your cover and then I passed it over to Troy, Troy's first reaction was, God, Tatum, take up the entire phone cover, why don't you?
Yeah.
I looked at him and said, just sign over it, use a different color pen. God. A couple of divas fighting over your cell phone cover, just, I hope you felt special. That was just for you.
Oh, thanks. I feel loved. I feel so loved. I was loved by J. Michael Tatum and Troy Baker, and they had a cat fight over me.
Not everyone can say that, so.
That's something to put on your blog.
Yeah. Well, during the convention on Sunday morning at the panel that you ended up doing by yourself, you actually told a hilarious story from your days on Aquarion about a poem that ended with the word glisten. And that was my favorite part of the panel. And I tried my best to retell it a couple of weeks ago, but I failed miserably. So could you relate the story to the Otakast listeners?
I love this. I get so much mileage out of this story, you have no idea. Of course, Aquarion was my very first show I had an opportunity to work on as a voice director. So I was really excited and very intense about it, because I wanted to do good. And I was already in the show, had been playing Toma, the show's main villain, who, if you haven't seen it, he's sort of this albino-looking, sort of effeminate, supernatural deity, sort of bent on world destruction, typical. And and he has this very deep, sort of sultry voice, and it's very creepy and very, very, in a very yaoi kind of way. Which is not to say yaoi is creepy, but it does happen to be if you're Chris Bevins and you're playing Apollo, as he was, who was not only the hero of the story, but also happened to be the I think, teenage incarnation of Toma's lover from 12,000 years previously. And so there was a lot of these weird overtones that, Chris and I, of course, go way back. And so we had a lot of fun with it. But there were days where he'd be like, I cannot listen to you saying those things to me. You have to stop. And so I would make sure to record myself before he had a chance to come in and record as often as possible, because it made him so uncomfortable. And there is about halfway through the series, there's an episode called The 12,000-Year-Old Love Letter, and in it, Apollo and Toma have this big mecha fight with these awesome giant robots, and in the middle of it, Toma is sort of serenading Apollo. This sort of poem, this sort of monologue about how things were all those eons ago when they were in love and together and yada, yada, yada. And it ends with the phrase, something to the effect of, the tree of life, how it shimmered and glistened. or how they shimmered and glistened, something like that. But yes, it ended with the word glisten. Very, very important point. Now, Bevins had no idea of this. When he came in to record a couple of days or a week later, very consummate professional. He gets in front of the